What is going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today when I talk to you about Opendoor, I want to go over some of the current data points, what's moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is up roughly about 5%, 792 the low, 883 the high, and a fair amount of volume. So 179 million shares being traded, 372 is the average. No macro data today. So I feel like Opendoor did kind of get screwed out because of the shutdown, because technically we were supposed to have had unemployment and non-farm payroll, and potentially that could have really solidified the market's mentality for a 50 basis point cut for the upcoming meeting, and that would have been a massive catalyst for Opendoor. But because of the shutdown, they did pause this data, so kind of sucks. We did see clearly the market really appreciate negative ADP data because Opendoor really spiked because of that. So hopefully going into next week, the shutdown concludes, and then we'll get this data, and then hopefully Opendoor will kind of move higher. But at the time of doing this video, no official SEC filings or any news. Unofficially though, posted on social media was a couple things. So CAS in both cases, I think, is just that massive catalyst for Opendoor that's really drawing big money in. But he did do a podcast interview with Alex, where he did state that running a publicly traded company is hard if you care what Wall Street Journal says about you. Luckily, I don't. So I think Kaz's no shit given type of mentality is on point and is exactly what Opendoor does and did always need. Aside from that, he did post this after hours yesterday, so we're close to shipping a relatively big change. Users won't notice this for a week or two. Aside from Kaz, there's some other speculative things coming out that people are saying, but nothing really of crazy value. I think just generally what is happening right now is big money is gravitating towards Opendoor and many other stocks today, largely because over the last couple of trading days, they were largely anticipating for the market to pull back because of the shutdown. But because of the market not really giving two craps about that, they clearly felt underinvested. So they started to get back in. You can see that based on the Darkpool. So big transactions today, 53.3, 46 million, 8.1, 2.5. Going forward, I'm just going to orient it based on the largest transactions for today. You can always pause it and look at the timestamps and so forth, but there's no point me endlessly just scrolling like this. It doesn't really benefit anyone. So those are some of the big transactions on the Darkpool, and then these are some of the big ones on the secondary market. So at the end of the day, definitely good stuff. And I think if Kaz keeps up this good momentum on social media and stays off kind of speculative topics and negative topics, then Opendoor is going to get on a lot of people's radar and really start to kind of move higher from here. Shorts, on the other hand, they're trying their very best to suppress it. So at the time of doing this video, shorts are increasing 3.69 million shares. 20.38% of the free flow is being shorted, works to be 144 million shares overall are being shorted. So shorts are trying their very best to keep it low. And in my opinion, the reason why is because of options. So quickly going over here, 35 million in calls, 805 in puts, 47% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. And ultimately going over here, from a bull standpoint, you see it kind of 850 and above. That's what's anticipated. And then the bears are anticipating for it to be sub 750. But with today being Friday, this is the open interest. And this is where things could get very real very fast and potentially cause a gamma squeeze going into next week. So we have 35,000 at that 8, 137,000 at that 850, 74,000 at that 9, 33,000 at 950, and so forth. So best case scenario, Opendoor does close above 850, and then that way this 137,000 and also 35,000 and various other ones below that are considered in the money. So market makers will have to cover that. So market makers and shorts don't want that to happen. So that's why potentially shorts might suppress it below that 850 mark. So don't be surprised if you see shorts get a little bit more active near the second half of today. Aside from all that fun stuff with it at 838, it is trading right below this pivot point. So 839 is going to be that key pivot to kind of watch for. 742 is going to be a strong support, and then 936 is going to be the next strong target / resistance point. I'm looking at the one-day chart on a side note, so these are very strong support and resistance points. As I've brought up in previous videos, Elliot Wave Technicals is projecting, as long as it stays above 601, which is that pivot, it is anticipated to get between that 11.27 and 12.73 range. So pretty good stuff as far as that. Aside from all of that fun stuff though, quickly popping over here, you see it still above that 10-day moving average, so signaling that the momentum is starting to build. Nothing really crazy for any analysis or any news or anything like that. You do see a lot of algorithmic trading, but then again, that's been more of a common occurrence over the last couple trading days. Because I think in general, Opendoor still is a very big momentum play. And luckily enough, though, I've actually seen a lot of people chatter about saying that Opendoor is a meme stock. That's kind of gone away. So I think people are actually taking Opendoor as a true credible company and not just a meme. So that's a good thing. And most likely a lot of that is just because of 𝗪𝗧. So 𝗪𝗧 definitely deserves a round of applause. Aside from that, though, algos, like I said, are think is going to be a big deal probably for the foreseeable future for Opendoor, and as long as it can actually stay in kind of above the 10-day moving average, so having some pretty good momentum, then essentially you'll have algos kind of on your side and really helping it move higher. So at the end of the day, I think that big things will be coming for Opendoor, potentially with more negative-ish labor linked to data points to justify a rate cut. But for today, just watch for it to close above best case scenario 850. Then you'll see a very nice gamma squeeze rolling over into next week. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Give yourself a shout out if you've been buying, if you're selling. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto. Put out daily day trades, numerous swing trades. Worthwhile to kind of pop over there and check that out. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.